what am I not looking at?
So how I'm seeing it, and just for the sake of this, because this is your journey.
Yeah.
This is your journey. You have awareness of some really big things in your life. You have awareness of things that you are looking at.
Mm-hmm.
You have awareness, and you're like, I feel like I'm doing some good work in there. And you are. You absolutely are. Like, you're amazing. What you're having to carry and hold and deal with and look at and heal through and navigate is massive.
Mm-hmm.
You're amazing. Like, these are the things that break people where they don't get back up, and they're not breaking you.
We'll make it out and fall in love tonight.
You're just like in your body all, but we're super buzzy today.
I don't even know where I want to put my body.
Right? Nothing feels right. You're like, this chair is uncomfortable. I don't feel good in this position. We're buzzy. Have we ever talked about what that means on the podcast?
I'm not sure.
So we refer to buzziness. It's kind of our little code word of communicating to each other that we're just feeling kind of grumpy on a given day, maybe even a little bit more towards the frustrated, like irritable. You're just really kind of buzzy. And
overstimulated.
Yeah, it's definitely a nervous system thing, right? And for us, it's like when we say to each other, hey, I'm buzzy today, then you just get like all the grace.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's these days, we've been having a lot of these days actually lately, where we're both buzzy. And it's hard to be understanding and patient and like giving the grace when you're the buzzy one, right? So both of us have had to like do the best that we can to accommodate each other simultaneously while we're both just like, I'm buzzy, I'm grumpy, right? It's so hard. It drives me bonkers. I wish it wasn't this difficult.
Or, it can make it so somehow only one of us is buzzy at a time.
Right? That would be great.
I'm putting in my order to the universe now.
We can decide. I guess I'll just not be buzzy today, and you can be buzzy today.
Very kind of you.
Right. I'll
Thank you.
I'll fall on the buzzy sword.
No.
Now it sounds sexual. Now it sounds like a vibrator. What's that magic wand? Is that what it's called?
I'm going to fall on the buzzy sword, actually.
Wait a minute. That's what this is all about? I want the buzzy sword.
Hold on.
I didn't realize that's what it was.
Suddenly buzzy is fun. Let's see. My mood is already better.
Right? Who knew?
All right.
Now we're like no longer buzzy in the frustrated way. We're going to be like, hey, baby, I'm feeling a little buzzy
I know.
today.
I'm going to come up to you and be like, buzz, buzz.
Right?
Hey.
I think today's going to be a buzzy day.
Are you feeling buzzy?
You could totally flip it like that. Look at how fun we are.
We
just immediately shifted up our energy and changed our perspective, and now we're gonna go buy a bunch of magic wand vibrators.
Right. His and hers.
If this house is a vibrating.
If it's buzzing, I don't know. Right. I can't like coordinate thoughts today, but too busy on the buzz. The buzz made me buzzy.
That's all the kids are all about these days. This is so hard. Mm-hmm. It's where we decided to talk today about like, what do you do when you don't want to show up anymore? Like when you're just like, it and you're done with, doing the life things that life requires. It's so hard. And we're both in that spot right now because of everything that we've been navigating I was thinking about it too, where we keep talking about it through this lens of like, the last few weeks and the last few months. And, obviously things have been really heightened for us since your dad passed away. But truth be told, like we have just been constantly in it this year. This year alone, I think, has been a really hard year for us. Like if you think back over the course of this year, right? We're in November now. Think back to January. Mm-hmm. Do you remember how shitty January was? Sorry, I feel like...
No.
You're like, I don't want to talk about how shitty this year has been.
It's so incredibly challenging.
Right? It's been so freaking hard.
I'm also, because I'm wiped out right now and I don't have anything, looking at it, I'm having a hard time not being pessimistic.
Right.
And being like, this year, the last 5 years have been garbage. I'm on this trajectory of just kind of bummy. So I'm like,
I know, it's the whole perspective thing, right?
Right.
We freaking talk. The fact that we talk, we talk about perspectives all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I still have to remind myself on a regular basis that how I'm seeing the world around me today, present moment, like from moment to moment to moment, is based off of this perspective. And that perspective is something that is so malleable, so changeable.
Yeah.
It's, and if I don't have awareness of what I'm feeling, then that perspective shifts almost immediately. And it's such a, like you were just saying, right? You're like, it's just so pessimistic.
Yeah.
Like when you're in these
I'm
lower
like-
themes of sadness and anger and grief and judgment and shame and all these things, that perspective is usually so pessimistic, so dark.
Right. It's like the swamp of sadness.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, and here comes the nothing.
Right. Do you remember the other day when you saw it in the mirror, or
that's
saw
what
it in the
was
door?
triggering us. And I'm
Right.
like, look, we're sitting in the front room and we have French doors dividing the two front rooms that are glass paneled. And the reflection from our fridge, I think we decided.
It was the fridge
It
lights.
was, and it has like the two lights in the bottom, but somehow it threw a reflection that looked just like from the Never-Ending Story when the nothing was coming out of the cave. And I was hugging you, I think, at the time, and I'm like, is it nothing? I'm like, let's see it. And you turned and you saw it, and we're like, what is that?
Right. It took me a minute to kind of adjust and get your perspective.
And get my perspective.
And when I finally got it, I was like, oh shit, babe, that's totally
Yeah.
It was dark down at the end of
Yes.
the hallway, and that's where his eyes were, and it was super cool. though.
It was super sketchy.
Yeah.
I felt much better when I saw it was the fridge, but then I did look at the fridge like, what are you going to do now? Like the fridge got scary. So it just kind of hit like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to change my perspective, and it's really like I recognize if I can just get to anger is my next one. If I can just pop back up into anger. And I had these little anger moments that we talked about, but I can't get past that. It's like fear is almost as high as I can go right now. I can get into fear, and anger is just like, I can't maintain it. I have a little burst and then I'm just wiped out, and it's just taking me back out again.
Yeah.
How about you?
What she's talking about when she's talking about going from like anger to fear and everything like that, those are themes of consciousness from the Inner Work book that's written by the yoga couple. We're incredible fans, not just fans, but we love those guys a lot. And I mean, their work alone, that book, the Inner Work of relationships, these themes of consciousness is a lot of what we're actually talking about right now. And we'll talk about it through these different like lenses and different verbiage and things like that. Like the perspective that I've been talking about and kind of referring to, it's the same thing. It's whatever your theme of consciousness is, wherever you're at in the moment. And because they had a revised version, I realized in this moment, right? It's themes of wounding. Is that what it is? Or
I think it is. It's like the themes of, oh my gosh, I think it is the themes of wounding.
Right.
We learned it as themes of consciousness.
Yeah.
So that's the pathway that we have and the way that it's logged into our brains. But each theme has a wound, and now they have it wrapped around what this wound is and how that is showing up. And
it's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like when we are in these lower themes and we have these, and truthfully, when we're in these wounded spots, like you're navigating emotional turmoil and chaos, right? You're going through all the processing now. So it's taking you back to these wounded moments in your life. And then not fast forward, but then drop in present moment, it's shaping how you're seeing the world around you. Like you, and I'm not pointing fingers at you. I'm not being like, you, but you have been in this incredibly like activated state for several weeks. And it's like to the level where you are it's like really on edge about everything. And I'm not just talking like defensiveness. You're like, what was that? What's happening there?
Yeah, I'm raw.
Like it's so sensitive right now.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. I
Do you have
can't get out of
awareness
it.
of that at times? Is it kind of the same thing where you have, I think.
What
like,
do you mean exactly? I'm like,
for me, sometimes I have awareness that, I'm really activated and I'm really triggered and I'm in this place because of that, right? My nervous system. And that's why I'm responding and reacting the way that I am. It doesn't necessarily always change it in the moment, right? It's not suddenly like, oh, cool, awareness, now I've fixed it. Not that anything's wrong in these moments, but, and then there's other times that I don't, right? I'm so in it that I can't even really see it from that outer lens of like, oh, this is a theme, this is a perspective. And, you know, so I'm curious. That's why the question was like, do you realize you're in it sometimes? Or
a lot of times you don't realize you're in it till after you catch. But this round, the majority of the time, I realize, like, I know what's happening. I'm trying to do perspective shifts. I'm trying to listen to things that help. I'm trying to motivate. I think I'm actually trying to jump too far. Maybe that's why. But I do have awareness. I get
trying to jump up there above
right.
courage.
I'm like, let's skip the anger and pride and all that. Let's just go right to happy.
Right.
Let's go happy and motivated, happy and willing. Let's just
Story
go
of our
joyful and
lives.
willing.
Hey, you got to stay in anger for a little
right?
bit. We're like,
I'm like, how about we just catapult that bar?
Yeah.
But if I can get that, if I can just change a thought just for a little bit, if I can just change where my focus is, then I can start to go. I'm even like drinking so much caffeine. I haven't drank this much caffeine in years and years. I'm like,
this
every
is
drink I
days.
have, this is,
And prior, obviously, right? It wasn't just a dispatch thing.
But it
real quick, I had a thing I wanted to tell you, and I don't want to forget it.
Okay.
And then we'll go right back to this conversation. This is episode 50.
Is it 50?
Yeah, this is episode 50.
Johnny 5.
How cool is that?
That's way cool.
Right?
That's a perspective shift. That makes me happy.
Yeah. Episode 50 of the Steph and Craig show.
It's also kind of cool.
50 episodes in, babe.
That's cool, babe.
Yeah. That's a big deal. Somehow we've managed to do 50 of these things this year since, when did we launch? May? So in the last 5 months.
Wow.
So different, right?
Wow.
Life is so different. And it's only been 5 months. 6 months. May to November, that's 6 months.
What month are we in?
Right. Who are we? Where are
What's
we?
happening?
What show is
What's
this?
my name? Who are you?
Welcome to the Bob and Carol show.
I thought you were going to say Karen, and I was like, oh, no, you didn't. Here comes the anger.
You want to tell your real life Karen story the other day? Didn't you have one from DoorDashing?
Did. I'm trying to remember it.
Where it was a Karen in live action. Like she understood the assignment.
She did. I don't remember what it is.
Well, anyways, let's go back to how you're drinking all the caffeine right now.
Let's go back to your drinking. Let's talk about your drinking. Also, let's talk about my lack of drinking. And maybe if I was doing more drinking, I'd feel better.
But it's like the awareness that
I have awareness
these
of
coping mechanisms are getting us through this time period.
And I can't, I'm trying to keep going. I'm trying to find, I can't find the energy. So I'm definitely trying to find I can't do this on my own right now. So for this time frame, I'm trying to get help because otherwise I can't stay in bed. I can't sit on the couch anymore. But I don't have it's so hard. I have awareness of it, which makes it more frustrating in a sense because I know what to do. I have awareness of what's going on and I can't shake it.
Yeah.
It's like I have lead hooks in me everywhere and I'm just being pulled down and everything makes me cry and I'm tired and I don't want to cry. I'm so every time that I get angry when I cry because I'm like, again, we are so done. It doesn't matter if it's sad or happy. It's like, boom, unless it's too much. You put on a show yesterday.
Right. I wasn't going to bring that up in this moment.
Gosh.
As you're crying.
Well, it made me feel too much. So then there was the anger. There was that I couldn't sit in it. It's this adjacent energy I have that is right here. If it gets too feely, then my body kind of goes crink off to the side. I can't, which is great because I'm not, completely disappearing and dissociating completely, but I can't. It's like I'm watching from here and I cannot get back in my body. And I feel like I'm moving most of it just kind of like a pixel out of alignment, just kind of over here. And it did that. I couldn't even feel the show because I'm like, that's too much. And boom, and it didn't matter what I do when I can't go back in my body. So I have awareness, babe. but I can't fix it yet.
Yeah. Yeah. That movie was called My Old Ass.
My Old Ass.
It's new. It's out on Amazon Prime. It's got, what's her name? Allison Brie. There was another actress that was in it that I was surprised by. I don't remember their name now, but it's good.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was one of those that, because we have this new awareness that, I don't even remember, it's been several years where we don't enjoy watching like those movies that we used to enjoy watching that are like what's an example of one? Because it's the teenage saga, right? Like I'm not
I don't like
interested in watching teenage comedy drama.
I'm not relating with
anymore.
teenagers.
Right?
It's just a different part now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just like, I love that they're making, it's just, that's not
but
relatable.
It was interesting when you brought that up too, because I didn't have awareness of it because I just looked at it's just movies. I just love fucking movies. I love movies, right? And then you're like, hey, I don't really want to watch a movie about teenage angst. And I'm like, oh. And then suddenly I saw it everywhere and I'm like, yeah, we're watching way too much garbage that we don't care about.
Yeah.
And it's also hard to find genuine good, like, dramas about what we're going through right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Maybe we need to look for those, or maybe we need to make those.
Here we go. Let's just make it.
Right?
We'll do it right now.
Yeah.
Listen. We'll do a new.
My Old Ass,
a new. This is 40. Like this is 40.
Go watch My Old Ass on on Pornhub. Go watch My Old Ass it's on Amazon Prime.
That's all I get. Go watch My Old Ass.
MyOldAss.com. Go check it out.
Can we make that a tagline just right now? Because it's hilarious. Say like, go watch My Old Ass. Google it.
It was really good though, and I won't spoil it. Just go watch it. It's a good little show.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was hard.
Yeah.
Somehow I don't remember how it ended. How did it end? I guess we don't.
The end is,
we don't want to
you
spoil
can't,
it.
because the end, the end is the spoiler.
Okay.
So
you'll have to remind me.
I will remind you.
So this year, it's been like you said, it's been 5 plus 10, our whole entire relationship, we've been healing and navigating fucking ginormous things. But this year just feels extra shitty.
Yeah. No, listen, this is the positivity podcast. This is the episode that's going to lift you up.
Right.
It has. Like, this year has felt so shitty.
Yeah. From the get-go.
Yeah.
How interesting.
There's been so many great things too.
Yeah.
Like, this year's also been fantastic.
I think you and me might look at the great things too much, because I'm realizing in this moment that I didn't realize how shitty this year has been.
Yeah.
Because we've just been so in it, getting through it.
Yeah.
But it's like we could go back, like I said, start in January.
Right.
January was so hard. We were frozen. We were frozen up until like March.
Yeah.
We decided to start this podcast, switch everything over, put an end to Energy as Love, which was 8+ years of our life.
I know. I was thinking that I wasn't going to go back when you were talking about 50. And I was for a second, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
50 last, where you were at with the podcast last one. And now.
It's like when it comes to podcasting, I love talking about podcasting on a podcast. It's like such insider podcasting baseball. But I think there's like 5 people that also enjoy it. I think people that listen to podcasts don't want to hear podcasters talk about podcasting. I do.
I see that.
But I'm also, a podcaster.
Yeah.
And so I want to hear other podcasters talk about what it's like podcasting. But that's not what this podcast is about. How many more times can we say podcast?
A few more times. If it's a drinking game,
you're drunk.
You need an emergency room. Right. It's too much. You've drank too much.
But 50 is a big milestone.
It's a big milestone.
And truthfully, they say that like most podcasts don't make it past like 5 episodes or something, right? I don't remember what the statistic is, but there's a lot of podcasts out there, obviously, and a lot of them don't make it past 5 or 10 episodes. And just for, that general, I mean, obviously it's a big number. It's cool. I'm proud of us, especially given what we've gone through to get to this spot, right? It seems amazing. Like I was getting everything set up for this, and as soon as I came in here and started turning on all the lights and kind of flipping everything on, I'm just like, man, I love having this in our house.
Right.
It's such a freaking just incredible, amazing thing, right? To be able to come and sit down. We didn't plan on recording today. We, the morning was kind of hectic, but there's some things, and then it was like, oh yeah, we got to record. shit, we have to record and I got to figure out what we're going to talk about.
And seeing this, that's the whole, like, when you have nothing left, how do you keep going? How do you still come in to sit down? How do you, like, how did you find it?
Yeah, I mean,
are you one of the millions who have completely been swept up by the pickleball craze? The type of paddle you play with is a really important choice that absolutely affects your game. Element 6 pickleball paddles are perfect for the beginner or seasoned pro. Element 6 has created premium pickleball paddles. Don't be like us and just buy the first paddle you come across. Start out with an edge in your game. Start out with a lightweight, stylish. Of course, you want your paddle to look good and be USA PA approved, just in case, you want to take it competitive or professional. Element 6 was founded by two brothers, and all of their products are manufactured right here in our own backyard in Tennessee. And with a wide range of options and free shipping and returns, there's nothing to lose. Right now, you can get yours. Go to stephandcraig.co, click on the Element 6 link, and enter Steph and Craig as a promo code to save you 10% on your order. And as a bonus, Element 6 is also going to send you a free gift with every order. Get yours today, and we'll see you on the courts. Looking for the perfect gift for somebody you love? Try looking beyond material things and get them the most unique gift possible. An unforgettable custom song from Songfinch. Songfinch lets you create an original studio quality song inspired by your own life and the people that you love. It's completely unique, personal, and it lasts forever. Songfinch walks you through a simple 4-step process to create your original song. Just tell them who the song is for, provide them some personal details, and let them know the type of song you want. Then pick your favorite Songfinch artist or get matched with one, and they'll write it, record it, and produce your custom song in just 4 to 7 days. Go to stephandcraig.co, click on the Songfinch link, and enter promo code Steph and Craig for $20 off your custom song.
Hey everybody, you know how we're always talking about healing together on the podcast? Well, today's episode is brought to you by a new company that's going to help you do exactly that. They're called OurRitual. Whether you're looking to grow individually or as a couple, OurRitual offers up personalized pathways designed by their research experts and therapists, all with the focus to help you unlock a deeper connection with yourself as well as your partner. You get full access to not just the therapist, but video exercises and other tools that are going to help you on your path. All of that for far less than regular therapy. So if you're looking for a flexible and affordable way to level up your relationship, check out OurRitual. Their website is OurRitual.com. OurRitual.com. Head over to OurRitual.com right now and take their quiz. This is going to help you personalize the experience so that you get the care and help that you need the most. OurRitual offers an alternative to traditional therapy and makes it more affordable, more accessible, and a much more engaging process through their user-friendly platform. Right now, listeners of the podcast can save 20% on their first month. Simply use the code StephandCraig20 at checkout. Again, that's StephandCraig20 and save 20%. Their website, one more time, is OurRitual.com. You and your relationship are worth it. Turning everything on in here was exciting. I was just really appreciative for the space. I was appreciative for that we created this in our house. It's very convenient for us. But as far as I don't know, babe, I think about this question, right? How do you keep going when you feel like there's nothing left, right? When you don't have anything left to give?
Presently, instead of because everybody, not everybody, but it's so common, it's common with us in the world you just go on autopilot.
Yeah.
You just check out. You're done. You check out and you're going through the motions. And before you know it, all this time has gone by.
Mm-hmm.
And you have no awareness. Your kids are now this old and, you've been checking the boxes.
I'm really worried about that right now.
But
I've been thinking about that a lot lately, where we have our heads down so much right now trying to survive through this period of our life that I worry we're going to get stuck here.
Yeah.
And forget to look up and forget to be like, wait a minute. Right now, everything feels so scary, so difficult, so challenging, right? From day to day, sometimes moment to moment, where it's I think we're both just super on edge waiting for the next thing. Mm-hmm. And it's draining to be in that space. But remembering that it's always the reminder. This is one of the things that I really do that really helps me, right?
Let's hear it.
Is I have had to practice, and this is again this has been a practice that I've had to cultivate, and I've cultivated it over the course of our life together, over the course of our relationship. It hasn't been like, it's been a personal practice.
Yeah.
And it's the process of just remembering that however hard and difficult, it's not the adage of this too shall pass, even though I really like that one. I think that's a really great life hack, right? Just to remember good times, bad times, no matter what's going on. Everything passes. You'll get through it. The sun will come out tomorrow. All of those things I think are really healthy and beneficial. And this is another thing like that, right? It's something that I have to remind myself. It's something that I have to tell myself over and over and over again. But I think it's like anything else where we hear all of these positive affirmations or these daily mantras or whatever it might be, right? This information that you want to, I need to remember this tip and this little thing is going to help my life be better, right? You have to find the ones that resonate with you, but also recognize, I think, that sometimes they're going to resonate differently with you throughout over the course of your life.
Very true.
And so one that, might not have resonated with you back in the day, like give it another shot. You've got a different set of ears, and I've had a different set of ears over and over and over again with our relationship during the time of our relationship, just because of all the work that we've done and all the growth. And I have to remember that I'm being carried by the universe right now.
Yeah.
That I'm just this innocent, universal love thing that is being carried by the universal love. And so it's like, I don't need to worry too much about anything because I'm being carried and held right now.
Yeah.
And I believe that, like, to my core. And so, but I don't always remember that. And so I have to constantly, it's in my scripting in the morning in my journal. So for the past 2.5, 3 years, it's been in some capacity writing that mantra out in some way, right? And remembering that, okay, I'm literally being carried right now. For however much I feel like I'm holding and having to carry and having to go, navigate life with right now, I have to remember that somebody else is actually carrying me. And so I'm just being supported and loved through this experience. And then I can kind of zoom back into reality and be like, okay, lift your head up. I'm grateful for the roof over my head. I'm grateful for the sun outside. I went outside today and got some sunshine this morning, and I haven't been out of the house all weekend. I realized because this past weekend, I got hurt. I got another pickleball injury. Breaking news here on the podcast. Right? We started pickleball back in what, like
I don't know.
August or April, May, June?
I don't know.
June, July sometime. We started pickleball back in the summertime, and I was beyond excited to play. And as soon as we started playing and everything started really clicking and my body got used to the impact of it. Because do you remember, like, in the first couple of weeks of us playing, how hard our bodies like suffered?
I remember I couldn't understand because I didn't put it together. I didn't connect
I know you
the
just
dots.
were like,
and I'm
why are my shins hurting?
Well, it was like my shins, my back, my knee, and in my brain, like, it wasn't like what we were doing. Yeah, it was a lot of, but it didn't measure. I'm like, what is going on? And you're like, that's pickleball. I'm like, what?
That's the 4 hours of pickleball we played.
Right?
Yeah. And then that went away. I don't know if you remember that too. I mean, you still have like some soreness and some tenderness, but like every day that we would go play pickleball, I would come home and have to ice my legs.
Yeah.
Like I would freaking ice my left knee. I couldn't walk for like days afterwards. And then we'd go back like, a day later and I'd play some more. It was really a lot. And that's actually good for me to recognize in this moment too, because what happened back in August or September, I can't remember. I think it was in August when I first tore my left calf.
Yeah.
And that was like a significant injury. and I didn't recognize it at the time. So I kept playing on it, and that obviously didn't help the injury.
Yeah,
And
you were
then-
doing I just got to work it out.
Yeah,
It's
I thought it was a
It's
cramp.
just got to work it out.
I was going to walk it off.
And you had me like rubbing your legs, so I'm like really
I
like getting there,
know,
working that
shredding the-
cramp out. I'm like, I got you. Your legs like, what the fuck?
That's such classic Craig. Craig gets injured and he's like, have I ever told you that story of when I broke my collarbone or my clavicle?
Oh yes.
Or no, it wasn't. It was my shoulder.
What? Oh, I'm thinking the dislocation story.
Right. Yeah, that's the story where I
Yes.
went snowboarding.
Yeah.
and
Why don't you go ahead and
broke my
you go
shoulder.
ahead and tell?
I just couldn't remember if I had ever told
Actually,
you
you
that.
haven't.
You're so funny.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard that story.
You're
And
so
you broke
sweet.
your shoulder or
What?
calf? What happened?
Right? Crazy. Tell me more.
You gotta tell me.
No, but it was very similar-esque where I'm like, oh, I think this is just this thing, right? I think I just dislocated my shoulder. I didn't break it. And so I tried slamming it back into location against a tree.
Right?
Because I thought I was Mel Gibson from Lethal Weapon. And it obviously didn't work.
Yeah.
So it was a nightmare. But that's kind of the thing with my calf where I was like, oh, it's just a cramp.
You ran
I'll
up
keep
and
playing.
slammed it against a tree. You're like, come on, get back in the game.
Yeah. So ever since then, I never gave it enough time to really heal.
Yeah.
And like 2 weeks later, my right calf did the exact same thing.
Because you were like,
'Cause-
everything went to your right
Yeah.
leg at that point.
Yeah.
Your baby and your left out there, and you're still going, and your
Yeah.
right calf's doing everything.
Yeah. And essentially what it is, like from an athletic perspective, at least like what the injury is, it's just that dynamic movement. It's the pivoting back and forth and pushing off of, and that calf muscle hasn't done that in years. And I'm also very, very different than I was like, in my teens when I was playing tennis
It's a
every
little bit
single
different.
day.
Yeah.
So they need to recover.
They do
and
need
they
to
need
recover.
to strengthen. And I need to start really like rebuilding my ankles
Yes.
because I've got really bad ankles from all the jits. So jits is slowly kind of like not going anywhere, but just not like I can hold on jujitsu for a minute and let my body rehabilitate.
You
And-
say that, but last night I was giving you a hug and you start like your body's like we're not getting what we need. We need a little jits in here.
Right. It's my subconscious jujitsu brain where it's like somebody comes up and hugs me and I go for underhooks
Right.
and immediately start knee shield and
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
That
I'm going to
was
do the
funny.
best that I
You
can.
got this. I believe in you. You
But-
said you decided you were going to actually give your body time to heal this time.
Yeah, and it's not even just like because I knew that I needed more time
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like, oh, I can still feel a little tightness in the calf, which means it's not healed all the
Right.
way. But my brain says, oh, that's just like a sore muscle,
Again.
right? So I just got a
just-
little sore muscle, and then I go right back out and tear it again. And
it's
so
like,
since the original one, I've torn each one. And I mean, it's not like a re-tear. It's just the same tear, just not healed, right?
I mean, maybe.
And
So you've got and when they're trying to form, they're
Yeah.
trying to reconnect or definitely reopen, but you don't know that you're going to the same level. You don't know that you're not doing it more every time.
yeah.
And
Yeah. So
there's only so much real estate you
I
have
know.
before. So
I was
like,
watching Troy, that movie with Brad Pitt.
Mhm.
And do you remember that movie at all?
I don't know.
Really?
I don't know that I've actually watched it.
Okay. It's okay. It's not a
Okay.
big deal. But in it, he plays Achilles.
Yes.
And do you remember the story behind Achilles?
Achilles Hill.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
And so I'm sitting there thinking about Achilles Hill
Interesting.
and these calves of mine because
That
it's very
are
much in
literally- Yeah.
that same area. And I'm like,
The insertion point is into your Achilles tendon.
is that where that
Mhm.
that muscle comes down
And
and
with
goes
some
into?
go around, but yeah, that one that you're getting is so interesting.
Right.
Hmm.
That's the thing.
What
is
up,
it's-
Achilles?
I know it's.
What are you gonna do?
But it's. I feel like I keep tripping myself up, and that's kind of the thing that I'm, like the lesson that I'm taking away from these calf injuries
Yeah.
is I just keep tripping myself up,
Mhm.
and I'm doing it, right?
Okay.
Like I'm not going out there nobody's forcing me to play pickleball. Nobody's yelling at me. Like I don't have to do it for any other reason than I want to do this, right? I want to play. But at the same time, I'm not listening to my body. I'm not, doing all of these different things that I should be doing. And so I keep tripping myself up. And in greater sense too, in life, with all these things that we're going through right now, it's like I have awareness of how I am avoiding the things that I should be doing, right? And then instead doing these other things that I shouldn't be doing. It's all that kind of stuff. Like it's really hard to stay focused on things.
Yeah.
And it's just hard to do the life things right now. And we have a lot of life things that need to be done, but we also have a lot of like bigger dreams, life things that we also need to do. And I feel like if we really leaned into those bigger dreams of ours and just went that direction, like if we just went towards our dreams 100% right now and said, fuck all to everything else, I feel like everything would just be like easy breezy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's what we need to do.
Maybe. I think I just almost threw up. I was like, oh, I'm so like fear. Fear is
Fear, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find that motivation that you're finding. I'm trying to, or you're speaking of.
I don't think I got the motivation.
I'm trying. And like, there's this thing, I heard this thing I'm listening because I'm taking the steps. I'm like,
yeah, you're doing work during this time.
I'm doing work, and I'm also allowed like inspiration to come in. I'm leaning towards the motivational books, speakers, talking, I'm listening to this stuff. I'm like, come on. Like, cause I know how to charge myself. I know what it feels like when I get that fire lit. And, one of the things is like looking at things. Is it moving you closer to the mountain? Is it moving you closer to it? Or is it taking you farther away from it? So
when you say the mountain, what do you mean? Like the dream?
To the dream, to the goal, to this. And, you're climbing, but in order to get to the peak, you got to get to the mountain.
Right.
Right. And
you don't get to the top of Everest.
Right.
Without getting to the bottom.
Getting to the base. You got to get to the base. So I'm just hearing this in a way of like, and it was just like bringing this thing, whatever everything you're doing, every step, is it taking you, is this helping your future self? Is it helping your present self? So a lot of times we will choose what's easier right now, what's going to feel good right now, what's going to help you in your, at least like what you want right now, but it takes a toll from your future self. And you keep like, I'll deal that win. I'll deal with that win. I'll deal with that win. And then when you get to win, it's, all of this interest, basically all this interest accrued. And so he's looking at it on like, is this taking me closer to the mountain or farther away? Is this getting me to where I'm ready to start scaling? Or am I, not even getting to the arena, not even getting in there yet?
I think we need to get some more groceries.
Right.
Yeah.
But also substance, right? So
definitely need groceries.
If you don't get groceries, you're definitely not going to feel your body to get to the mountain. But maybe we don't need to get ice cream,
Yeah.
There's, so I'm looking at this and I'm trying to like feel this motivation. Is this taking me here? And then it was like getting clear on, holy cow, I was going to go off on a tangent and I realized I'm still going to talk on this, but I don't remember why. I don't remember
why you were talking.
Yeah. I don't remember what I was speaking to. Because I was trying to remember it so well that I could like speak what I was learning, that I forgot where we were at. I know we were talking about your calves. I know we were talking about, so whatever happened after that has left my brain. And instead of just finishing the story, I'm just going to be honest and say, I don't remember where we were going. Do you want to help me? This has been really bad. My brain fog.
Tell me you're not in your body without telling me you're not in your body.
Well, at least I'm just telling you. I'm being honest with it. What was the point of my mountain conversation? How was I relating to you? How was I benefiting the conversation? Or did I just interrupt and start going on a rampage because my brain didn't even recognize you were talking?
It was definitely in the flow of conversation.
Was it? What was the flow?
We weren't talking about, history, and then
you
suddenly out of
remember
nowhere.
either.
No, I do remember. I was talking about my calves. And I was
Yes.
talking about how I keep tripping myself up.
Yes, tripping yourself up.
And then you were talking about how I don't remember, babe.
That's because I sidetracked us both so hard. You're like, where is she going with this?
No, I think you were talking about in general how you're navigating this time period. Like, how do you keep going?
If we were, going to the dreams.
Yeah.
If you were like, if we just go towards our dreams.
Yes. Thank
and
you. I'm so glad you remembered that. See how fucking squirreled we get from our dreams?
We're like,
The universe is like, go towards your dreams. You were like, listen, you got to get to the mountain. Before we start talking about dreams, you got to get over there and get to the mountain.
How do you self-sabotage in action? Like, what were we talking about?
We're talking about living our dreams. And the universe says go that way. And then we're like, no, let me tell you a little story.
So there's this mountain, right?
I was listening to this podcast the other day.
Oh my hell. Okay.
Yeah, babe.
Okay, so
you're making choices that are taking you towards your dreams.
I'm trying.
Yes.
I'm trying to, because I recognize how much I have got away from that. And I'm much further away from our dreams than I've been, or at least perspective, right? Maybe not. Maybe not. Also, when I was pulling cards this morning, I got the grit becomes the pearl. And it's like, right now I'm in the grit right now, but this is like the process. This is what happens.
I think you're in the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're definitely in the, like, I have seen you like shed, like I've seen you go through the fire probably like once, I think, in our relationship.
Okay.
You know, like there's always these like evolutionary phases of life that we go through, and like you're changing all the time and you're shifting up, and like that process is always kind of ongoing. But like a true like death and rebirth, like a true burn everything to the fucking ground and then this new phoenix rises out of those ashes. Like I've seen you do that once. And this feels like you're doing it again. Like it feels like what you're doing right now is burning all the shit away so that this new, incredible, beautiful thing gets to come out. And it's a beautiful thing to witness and to be like I love being in journey with you, to be able to observe and watch and witness this part. It's scary. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I'm like in that process with you. Like we're going through this phase of life where we're burning a lot of stuff away. And it's scary as fuck. But we're getting to the point where like these phoenixes want to rise out of these ashes. Like we got these little birds inside of us that want to fly, baby. So I think you're much closer than you think you are. And I still like am observing and watching and witnessing you do this work, this thing. Because that process isn't like, you know what I'm talking about. Obviously, I don't need to sit and articulate it, but for the people listening, so that, because not everybody's in our heads, right?
Sometimes it feels like it.
It depends. Depends on which matrix we're in. But
right.
Life throws you curveballs all the time. And sometimes it feels like you go through a process of death and rebirth in life that you don't have any control over, and it just happens to you, right? And then there's other times where you actively take control of that process and kind of do it consciously and actively, rather than just, you know, coming out of it 2 years later with, you know. So this feels like, did I describe that at all well enough? This feels like an active rebirth process that you're doing, because you're choosing what you're focusing on. You're like, I keep envisioning your dragon, just like you're pointing, you're like, Dracarys that, Dracarys that, Dracarys that. You're like, okay, I think I fucking burned everything that I want right now. And then you're just going to jump back on that dragon and fly, babe. That's what it feels like.
You just said a lot of really nice things to me.
Mm-hmm.
You've been really amazing and supportive, and I'm seeing how much you're going through, and I talked about at the beginning, like that was a lot of big emotions. So I can feel myself like, I feel so bad right now because I can't show you how much that just meant to me. Because I'm doing that like that pixelated side here.
It's hard to be in a
That
buzzy
meant
body.
a lot. And at some point I'm going to be able to communicate what that felt like to hear. And at some point I'm going to be able to come back into my body and really feel what that felt like to hear you say. Because it was big enough that I just like, whoop, just split out of my body. It was big enough that it definitely has shifted me a little bit hearing you say those things.
Yeah.
It was really nice of you. It felt really good to hear. I love you a lot.
I love you.
Okay. So goals and mountains and dreams, right?
Goals and mountains. Let's move on to the part of the episode where we just, I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
All right, this is where we're
We're just going to cuddle.
Right.
End this in a cuddle puddle. I know where your brain went. I like those
How
cuddles.
could you not go there? Like, you can't hear that phrase and not go there.
What were you going to say?
I don't remember. We're moving on.
Back to the mountains.
Yeah. So also your calves, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need to go back to my calves.
Interesting.
Right? Don't look at them.
Okay.
Don't
We're
look
done.
at
We
them.
talked about them. We talked
Don't
about
look at
them.
my Achilles heel.
There's so if you look at your calf just a little bit, just if we go to, I don't know if we've talked about this before. I feel like it's repetitive, so we might have. Think about the work that your calves do.
Yeah.
Like if you're have the function where you're able to walk, you're able to run, you're able to do the weight that your calves, the work that it actually does.
Mm-hmm.
You've got it like stabilizing, you've got it like literally picking your body up and moving it and holding it upright and whatever, like it's like the motor. It's
right.
that,
It feels like the gas and the brake.
It is. And it has to not only do it's carrying it all. It's literally carrying your entire body. So your feet, you don't get planted, but the calf muscles are what pivots and lifts and gets you going. So everything that you're carrying, everything on your shoulders, everything you're recognizing with the head and the back and how all the tension in the shoulders, and you feel like you got the weight of the world on those shoulders. And it's so easy to have our awareness up here of everything that we're carrying as it migrates down to our lower back and our hips, and we're stirring all this trauma. But underneath, when you keep going and you keep going, is the one that's actually lifting everything. So I'm holding up, and it's like, I have to figure out how to keep you going, keep you upright, and keep you moving. And so your calves are really doing a lot of work and carrying everything with zero awareness. So much, we're not really focusing on our calves that much unless they get to the point of where they're like, hey,
they fucking tear.
There's so much, like we all know that trauma is in our hips. We all know that, or
I don't
maybe
think
we
we
don't.
all know
Maybe
that.
we don't, right?
You and I know that.
It's one of the more common spots where people like associate trauma being stored in your hips. And
I got some good hip traumas.
Right?
I got some good trauma hips.
You got trauma.
You like
your
those?
trauma hips don't lie.
Watch this.
Look at you, like,
right?
You, like, look over here, laugh and
Right?
deflect. Look over here, look at my trauma hips.
Trauma hip,
Look over here.
You like those?
But your calves also are a really big point for that. And we're not associating that. Like when we're starting to think of our calves, we're not associating the weight that it's carrying. We're not associating everything. It's kind of like this forgotten space that just goes unnoticed, just goes like, here it is. We're going to store it here and nobody's going to know. And if you even think about the circulatory system and how when the arteries are pumping the blood out and the veins take it back, the working of the calves help work with your circulation to help push the blood back up to the heart. So they have this vital role that gets ignored, taken for granted, stored. And maybe you're at this point of where they're like, I need some of this trauma out. I need some of this. Like, I can't keep carrying all this. I can't keep carrying all this. And I'm tired, so I need some of this out. And I need you to start looking here so that we can move it out. I need you to start really looking at me look at me, because it's time to go out. Will you look here? It's time. I don't want to be ignored. Look at me, look at me.
What would I need to look at? Like, let's go here, babe. Let's go ahead and go for it.
Chances are you've heard us talk about merino wool because we love it, and you're going to hear us talk about it again. We decided it was really important to us to start bringing in and wearing natural fibers that were good for our health. Woolly Clothing offers 100% merino wool, natural fabric, which is a healthier choice compared to the other synthetics that are often made with plastics. I've been wearing their underwear, their athletic tees, their shirts, and I stole Craig's pants because those are my favorite things to sleep in. Don't worry, he went and got himself his own pair. They're durable, they have tons of versatile styles, and it also really helps when you're trying to wick away all that moisture that they're also odor resistant. They're easy to take care of and also eco-friendly. So head over to stephandcraig.co right now, click on the Woolly link and enter the promo code Steph and Craig and get 15% off of your order. If you're ready for natural fibers that feel good on your skin, help regulate your temperature, keep you dry, don't stink, and on top of all of that, look really good. Go pick yourself up some clothes from Woolly now. How long have you been using those same non-stick pans that are all scratched up and scraped, not cooking well, and putting off those flecks of that non-scratch surface into your food? It's terrible for you. Do you still have those? We started getting serious about not only the food that we were putting in our bodies, but what we were cooking that food on. So we switched to American-made stainless steel cookware by Heritage Still. Heritage Still is a family-owned business located right here in Tennessee. They have been building great stainless steel clad cookware for over 40 years. They're versatile for all cooktops. They're oven safe, easy to clean, and they have a lifetime warranty. We switched out all our pans, and I am so glad we did. I love cooking with our Heritage Still pans, and I love the fact that when I'm cooking for my kids, my family, I have the peace of mind to know that it's safe for them to eat the food that I'm making. Head over to stephandcraig.co and click on the Heritage Still link, and make sure you enter promo code Steph and Craig to save 10% on your order. Start cooking healthier for you and your family today.
To the best of our abilities that we can on a podcast, right? Because it feels like I'm looking at everything.
Yeah.
But if we're going with this metaphor that you're painting, which, by the way, I really, really resonate with, and I love when you start tapping into your stuff and sharing it with me. So this tells me that all the stuff that I'm looking at, it's not to say I shouldn't be looking at the stuff I'm looking at, right?
Yeah.
That's not like you're looking in the wrong place, right? I'm looking at good stuff I need to keep looking at. I'm processing good things that I need to keep processing and everything, right? But clearly there's something I'm not looking at. And it seems like it's something that I'm not even aware of, because these calves are just like front and center every single time. Like every time it tears, every time it happens, I just stop, right?
Yeah.
Now I just go like, well, I'm done. And I just walk off the fucking court. That's what I did on Friday. You know, it's like, well, I'll see you later. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a couple of weeks, probably. Hopefully.
Which that in itself is a loving action that now you're doing, because that used to not be what you would do.
Mm-hmm.
You play through, work through, roll through, move through whatever injuries and ignore it and just keep going and keep demanding more and more and more. And if that means you're limping, you do it with a limp. You know, you just wouldn't stop. You wouldn't stop. And there was so much like, in that. Like, you can't stop me. You can't stop me. I'm not going to stop. And so now to be able to be like, okay, I deserve time to heal. I love myself enough to walk off the court to say, I'm done. I'm not going to do this for a minute. I'm going to let my body heal and not have it attack your worth, not have it, just saying, I love myself enough to sit down, and I'm not bad for that. I'm not wrong for that. I'm not weak for that. There's nothing, I don't deserve punishment, and I'm not going to punish myself for that. I'm going to go and let myself heal. That's huge. And I can feel the like the struggle with that still. Yeah.
Hey, don't project what you're feeling onto me. I don't know what you're
Okay.
talking about.
Is that what it feels like?
Is that what feels like?
Does it feel like I'm projecting onto you?
No.
Yeah.
No, I was teasing. Yeah, I mean,
It's a big compliment.
it is a big compliment, and I don't think I can hear it.
Yeah. Can you feel it?
No.
What does that bring up in you if you're...
Well, it's like I want to get back to what I'm not looking at.
Oh.
And I feel like what you're talking about is what I'm not looking at. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. I heard what you just said. That's great. Thank you. But moving, like, we got to go back to my original question.
Okay.
And so I don't know if you answered it
These are my questions to answer.
or if you also, answered something else that I need to acknowledge and look at, but I still want to get back to the thing that I'm not looking at. Like in your mind, what am I not looking at? Did you just tell me?
I think so how I'm seeing it, and just for the sake of this, because this is your journey.
Yeah.
This is your journey. You have awareness of some really big things in your life. You have awareness of things that you are looking at.
Mm-hmm.
You have awareness and you're like, I feel like I'm doing some good work in there. And you are. You absolutely are. Like, you're amazing. What you're having to carry and hold and deal with and look at and heal through and navigate is massive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're amazing. Like, these are the things that break people where they don't get back up, and they're not breaking you. You're hurt, but you're finding a way to keep moving, and it's big. And I'm so proud of you. You're doing so much good work. And your energy is, I'm going to keep going. Which is great. That's such a good skill. That's such a big thing to have. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. But what we were kind of like associating the physical injuries that come up with is, it doesn't matter how bad it hurts. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to push through. I'm going to push my body. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to look weak. I'm not going to look vulnerable. I'm not going to look like you can hurt me. You can't hurt me because you can see me. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. And I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to look at it, and I'm not going to let it heal. I'm just going to make it heal by moving and over time and not keep going. And so now your calves are saying, look at me, look at me, look at me. And you're like, I'm looking at all these things. I'm looking at all these things. Let's go. And you're like, look at me. And you finally are saying to your calves, like, okay, you want me to look at you? I see you. So now I'm going to slow down a little bit and not just quit. You're not quitting. You're saying, I'm willing to look at you and see what's going on and see what you need, and allow some healing to come in a gentle, like the image that just was being supported, learning how to float on your back is like, instead of being like, I'm going to go wave
Fuck
ride.
off.
I know.
Apparently,
We're moving some energy.
apparently my belly had something to say about that too. What time is it? I have very vivid memories of learning how to swim on my back. And I remember my mom supporting me and teaching me how to swim on my back. Which are hard memories for me to feel right now. It's hard for me to feel any positive memories with my mom. I don't like to. They don't feel good. But when you said that, I just immediately remembered. Not even remembered, I could feel it. I remember the smell in my ears under the water, and I remember being so afraid. Like there was something so scary about trying to float on my back and swim. And then I just got it. Like, and then it became not scary anymore. So that's an interesting thing to come up. It's an interesting thing for you to say. But that's how it works. We know that. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying everything you just got done saying. I feel like, because if we continue down that metaphorical path of like, what am I not looking at? I'm doing all this work, doing all this healing stuff. I feel like I'm looking at so many different things, and like all along the way, all this healing work that we've done and that I've done, I haven't truthfully done the work of letting my body heal and like really connecting to my body and being with my body and loving my body. I've done a lot of I've had some love affairs with my body. I've gone through periods of my life when I've done better at loving it and appreciating it and taking care of it and valuing it. And it's something that's on my list.
On your list.
It's on I'll get to that list. At some point, I'll get to the point where I really turn around and just fucking love this fucking thing that's carried me all this way and treat it right and feed it the food that it deserves. Like, truthfully, just take care of myself. I don't think I've known how to really take care of myself. So I feel pretty capable at this point in my life. I know how to take care of myself. I know what I need. I know what my body needs. I know what's good for it. I know what's bad for it. And I love it.
Say that again.
I don't want to say it again, babe. But I really do love my body. So I'm excited to start taking care of it. My calves are like, it's about time. They wouldn't even let me, like, when I went and played on Friday, I told you it was like the first fucking game.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't even on the court for 10 minutes. So I get to really love it. Love this body of mine.
You try something real fast.
I'll do my best.
Just put the cards down for just a
Are
second.
you sure I have to?
Just for a sec.
I'm fucking
Just
Woody
for
over here,
sec.
babe.
I know. Just for 1 second.
Okay.
And look at your hands.
Look at my hands.
Just look at your hands. Move them around. Look at them.
Okay.
And see your hands. See your
Good, strong hands.
your Halloween nail polish still there.
Yeah.
How old are
Yeah,
your
go
hands?
watch our Halloween episode
Yeah.
on YouTube.
How old are your hands?
43.
Those are 43-year-old hands. Can you feel that in your body?
Can I feel that in my body?
Just like looking and being like, 43.
They don't look like 43-year-old hands.
Okay. Can you tell them they're 43?
I would expect them to look older. I'm sorry, babe. I'm having a hard time.
It's,
I think what you're asking might be too much for me to do.
that's okay. What about, you know what, we can do this off air. This
well,
is too hard on air.
I was trying to figure out, what are you trying to get me to do?
We're going to do it off air. We're going to do it off air.
Can I pick up my cards again?
Yes, you can pick up your cards again.
Okay. Are you trying to get me in my body?
There's a practice, but like you said, it's too hard for you to do right now and to go through, like, we're about to wrap up. So
It's
we're going to wrap
hard.
up.
You know this from experience because we've been podcasting for a few fucking years now, right? But you know from experience how difficult it is to take up space with your vulnerability on this podcast, right?
Yes.
As soon as it happens, you're just like, can we move along, please, folks?
That's what I said. We're going to do this.
Can we just fucking get this show on the road?
We're going to wrap up.
Can we point in some other fucking direction other than my fucking vulnerability?
Yeah. Your strength. You're so beautiful and I love you and we absolutely can. We absolutely can. You did an amazing job. And I think this is the perfect time to end the episode.
I think you did thank you. I appreciate that. I did do an amazing job.
Did an amazing job.
Thank you so much. I'm definitely practicing looking at the positive things that I do in my life, all the good things that I do in my life. But I also want to thank you for, once again, just beautifully helping support and guide and offer up so much of your wisdom and insight. And it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And it feels so good. And I feel like you really just helped me in this moment see and understand, because I have been so confused by these fucking calves. It's literally just been like, what's going on? Because this doesn't happen to me. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if I want to fucking play pickleball, I'm going to fucking play pickleball. Like, nobody gets to come over and be like, you thought you got to fucking do this thing that you really fucking love and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it? Turns out, fuck off. You're not going to do that. And I'm like, who the fuck's talking? Because nobody tells me that, like, if I want to do something, I'm going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
And then every fucking time. Like, every time I get to the point where I'm like, man, it feels so good. Everything's clicking. It's working so well. I'm so excited. It's having so much fun. My calves are like, fuck off, Yar. Fuck off. You don't get to do that. And I'm like, so confused by this. And I've been so like in it, trying to understand what the fuck is going on. And you just did a really beautiful job of helping me understand it and see it. And I feel like my calves are finally just like, oh, thank God. Finally, we get to heal. Finally, we get the love that we deserve. Finally, we get to be seen. Like, everything in my body just went like, oh, thank you, Stephanie. Because I've been talking a lot about it. You know, one of my scripts every morning in this journal is, I'm joyful and full of gratitude now that my body is in the best shape of my life. And I had awareness of, because I've been doing that one for probably all of this year, maybe. I don't know. I have to go back and look. It's a newer one. It's not a long time one, but it's probably this year. And I keep doing it and I keep scripting it and I keep writing it. And then at some point I'm like, I'm going to have to do something about that. Like, that's just not going to happen if I really want to get my body to the place where it's in the best shape of this life, this experience. I'm going to have to do something about it. And I thought pickleball was a part of that because we got all this exercise suddenly, right? Outside, all the good stuff. And I think pickleball is part of it. I'm not letting go of pickleball, right? It's not something that I'm like, well, I guess this just isn't in my future. Fuck off. It's in my future. I'm really good at it and I have so much fun playing it. But that awareness of what you helped me understand of, you know, the metaphorical thing of like my calves carrying this weight for so fucking long. But it's me, right? I mean, it's not just my calves. It's my whole body. I have so much pain in my body that is from trauma. Yeah. You know, do I still have injuries and, you know, yeah, I got all sorts of pain in my body too that's from jiu-jitsu and from life and, you know, but so much of it's from trauma.
Yeah.
And fuck all, I don't want to carry it anymore. So that means I got to do something about it. That means I got to, and I'm so excited. Like, I am so excited to see what happens. I am so excited to be in this body in a way that this body has never been before. I feel like my actual physical body has yet to see the best version of itself, the most optimized, the most healed, like all of these things. And I also recognize that, like, it's not just the physical part of it that needs attention and focus and has the best version of, right? I'm very excited for all of these things, but this big component of just, I really have to slow down and not even like go inwards, because this isn't just like, obviously we go inwards all the time and talk about emotional stuff all the time, but it's the actual process of like, it's deep somatic work.
Yeah.
Right? So let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Let's go really slow. You know how I like to go slow? I'm a big fan of it. You know how I like somebody telling me if I should slow down? Tell me I should slow down when I'm going really fast. It works really well. Just ask my wife, right? If we're on the freeway and you're like, slow down a little bit. My first reaction is very much, of course, honey, I was definitely going too fast. Oh, silly me, I better slow down.
I'm so glad that you actually do, though.
Right. But it takes all of my, like, I have to battle against so much to just go like, oh yeah, I guess 95 right now probably isn't the speed that we should be going.
Sometimes you're going 60 and I'm like, I can't do it.
I love you.
I love you so much.
Yeah, I love you too, baby. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for another episode of, I was going to mention also Brave Men Dare. We don't talk about that enough on this podcast. It's another podcast that I started with Ben, a buddy of mine. It's really fun. It's really good. We just released an episode where we broke down, what's the movie, Tombstone?
Yes.
And it's fun. It's actually really cool. So go check it out, Brave Men Dare. You can find it everywhere. And yeah, I forgot I was going to mention that. And here we are. So
I was going to mention that earlier when you were talking about the 5 to 10 episode that most podcasts don't. And I'm like, man, you're 3 for 3.
We're
for
getting
podcasts
there.
That you have them record. You've got over 5 that you've recorded. I don't know if you have over 10 that you've recorded.
Yeah, not yet. We're
just
almost
not
there.
released. So yeah, you are.
Right.
You're awesome.
Okay, everybody. We'll see you soon.
All right.
On a future episode of the Steph and Craig Show. Expect the best.
Oh, no. Do it again. I wasn't sure who was going. I thought you forgot. I was going to me. Say it.
Expect the best.
Plan for the greatest.
Take a chance, we got a wild ride. Wait and see, you and me, we were meant to be.
We want to make something perfectly clear. This podcast is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as a substitute for professional advice. We're sharing with you our own personal experiences and insights, things we have found to be helpful on our healing journey. But we are not licensed therapists. If you need help, it's important to seek out a qualified professional. Remember, we believe that we all do better when we heal together. See you soon.